Tell me this, how in the hell did you and Aaron, how did you guys meet? And then how did the idea come from that? And again, I'm talking the idea, and I'm really talking, hopefully everyone on here knows, we're talking about really recruiting and attracting talent to, again, to Keller Williams at the time and possibly now, and just talent all over. How did that idea even start? Was it Aaron, or that was something you had already worked on?
No, no, no. So
Yeah.
this is kind of what brings it to fruition. So I live in
Yeah.
Austin, Texas. I'm in the founding city of Keller Williams. I moved here to Austin in 1996. So, and I got into real estate in 2006. So for 10 years, I lived in this city and drove past the Keller Williams Southwest Market Center every day. Had no idea who they were. Not a clue. And anyway, when I decided to get my real estate license, um, which was hard, by the way. I mean, it took me 3 times to pass my test. I wasn't God's greatest gift to real estate like I was thinking I was going to be. I couldn't even pass the darn test.
Yeah.
So here I am passing this test, and of course, I go and start interviewing brokerages. And the brokerages that I knew back in those days, Remax, Caldwell Banker, Century 21, those were the biggest brands in the industry at the time, right? So that's where I went. And I started talking to these brokerages, and I quickly realized that their model was not built for me. It was built for them because it was either independent, hey, get out there, good luck, I hope you make it, or dependent, hey, come and work my leads and I'll take 75% of your money and treat you like an employee. And I had previously run another business into the ground recently before that. So I was in the furniture business, which totally extended it burned me out so much because I was working 70, 80 hours a week, retail. And finally, when I finally drove that business into the ground, I was smart enough to buy the real estate. And so when I sold that real estate, I'm like, oh, I'm going to go and get my license and get into real estate. So the guy that helped me sell my property was the guy that I went and started shadowing at Remax. And I quickly learned, I mean, there was no training, there was no support. And unless I was going to learn from that one guy, I wasn't going to have any real success. And from being in a business where I didn't know what I was doing and had some success, and then as the market and the industry changed, if I didn't have any way to adapt my business, I didn't know how to adapt to the market of the moment. And that's what made me realize if I'm going to be in real estate, I need to have a system, I need to have a model, I need to have some sort of structure. And from what I found, there wasn't any of that. Even though and that's because I never interviewed Keller Williams. And so for a full year, I did absolutely nothing in real estate. I had my license, I put it in my back pocket and said, I don't think this career is for me because there's no structure. And I went and did something else for a year. But about a year later, I started seeing all these red and white signs around Austin. And I'm like, there's a Keller Williams sign. There's Keller Williams signs everywhere. And I thought, wow, they must be a really big startup that's dominating the market. Little did I know they had been in Austin 10 years before I even moved there. Right? So they were number one in the city and I had no clue. And so the way that I found them, I found Aaron, was I went home because I saw these red and white signs and I said, I'm going to Google this Keller Williams company. And I found an ad on Craigslist, which was Aaron Kaufman's ad, a free Craigslist ad. I filled it out. He picked up the phone and he called me. And next thing you know, I was signing up with Keller Williams. And I did not expect anything I wasn't expecting. I didn't understand profit share. I didn't understand any of that. The thing, I just wanted to be in real estate. And this guy got me there. And I named him as my sponsor. And, I started selling real estate thinking I was going to be the guy, and quickly realized I kind of liked the recruiting side of things. And the reason I did was because I went to a profit sharing class in my market center taught by Althea Osborne, which if you know Althea, she's the queen of profit share. And she told me she had sponsored 13 people in her career. And I'm like, I think I can sponsor 13 people. little did I know that it was the right 13 people that would go on to change the industry, but that didn't stop my mind. So I called up Aaron and I said, hey, I want to recruit. I like what you're doing and I want to do that. And so in 2007, he started sending me recruiting leads. And in my first year, I sponsored 14 people from the leads that Aaron gave me. And I was like, this is amazing. And then next thing you know, 12 of them left. And I'm like, this is not what I want to do. How am I going to get to my 13 people to be the next Althea Osborne? Right. And so the next thing I did was I reached back out to him and I said, hey, I think I really want to do this. I'm passionate about it. Can you give me more leads? And he flat out told me no. He flat out told me no, because he had this girl that I think she was the growth partner of the year. And I think she sponsored like 56 people that year. And so I told him, I said, I'm going to go out and do it myself then. I'm going to go build my own website and I'm going to start being your biggest competition. And from that point on, from 2008 on, I started really developing a system that would not only help agents discover, or new agents discover this company and get in touch with the brokerage so that we could educate them on what our company's about. But also I wanted to really focus on building a profit share tree that could give me passive income, which is what the whole purpose of passive income is, right? Having money work for you when you don't have to work. And so I started really focusing on that. And it started out, Ben, it was rough. I mean, it was copying and pasting. You'd get an email and you take the same form email and respond. And it was just so non-automated. There was nothing to it.
Mm-hmm.
And so over the years, I started developing, seeing different patterns and systems. And I'm like, okay, I can automate this. I can automate this. I can automate that. And next thing you know, come to 2021, I had my best year ever where I sponsored 219 agents myself. And that was through 467 recruiting consultation phone calls. And which, if you want to do the math, that's a 47% conversion rate. And that made me go, my God, I'm really good at this. And I want to, and now granted, from 2008 going straight up until 2021, I never had a year where my profit share went down. So in my mind, I was doing the right thing. Everything was wonderful. Everything was great. Everything was on a trajectory of growth until after 21 and 22, things started dropping. And ever since then, it's kind of dropped because now we've gotten into a tough market.
Absolutely.
But you know what? I grew my $1 million profit share tree starting in 2007 during the middle of the recession, all through the Great Recession. That's when I built my profit share tree. So it made me go, wow, if I could help other people build profit share trees using the same system that I've built, and they don't have to do anything except pick up the phone, have the consultation, and then pass them off to the market center. That's what I want to do to help other people. So if you think about now, if a lot of you have recruited in this group here, you know there's a lot of legwork involved, right? You've got to place ads, you got to have a website, you got to place the ads, you got to nurture the leads, you're going to deal with a lot more not enrolled people than you are people who are licensed. So a lot of that comes down to creating a systematized approach to handling that. And so what I did was I created a platform called YouDriveTheSuccess, which is its own recruiting platform. It's not tied to Keller Williams, but it's synced to Keller Williams. So ultimately what we do is we have the website. Every agent that joins, let's say you wanted to recruit to your local market center, you would sign up as a consultant with our company, which is free. And you would then generate what we call a KW career link, which is your unique link that any outreach, anybody that fills that form out from that link is automatically deposited into your career consulting portal. And they're put into 3 groups: not enrolled in school, enrolled in school, and ready to interview. Now, the not enrolled in school people, that's 90% of your database. And that's where a lot of people don't do. They focused on that 10, 11% of the enrolled and the licensed people, and that's all they focus on. But the biggest part of your database that's going untouched are those people who are still kicking the tires trying to decide if a real estate career is for them. So over the years, I've developed a system, and I've developed a great relationship with real estate schools in the industry. And so much so that I'm one of the top affiliates at the CE shop, which is they're in 48 states. They track everybody that comes through the system. We're able to keep a tally on progress completion. And then when those recruits are ready to interview, we track them and we transition for them to speak with the consultant who generated that lead. So from the beginning to the end, from placing the ad, generating the lead, nurturing the lead, qualifying the lead, and scheduling the recruit to talk to you, that's a huge, huge amount of work. But that's what I've automated. So now for everybody who wants to recruit and all they want to do is pick up the phone and have the conversation, sign up as a consultant with my company. I'll manage your whole process for you. And it's 100% free to use. And people are going, well, how is it free? And that was kind of the conversation we had in San Antonio. It's like, how are you doing this for free? Well, remember that 90% of people that don't have their real estate license, that's my target. Those are the people that we're going to go after, because when I convert a tire kicker to an actual student that becomes your recruit, I get a commission from the CE shop. So that allows me to provide this entire service to you and everybody for free. To basically say, you want to recruit at a high level, you just give me ad spend dollars, I'll put them in my system, and I'll return you a ready to interview recruit. So it's a pretty simplified process. I've been working on it for the last year and a half. We've launched in several market centers across the country. We're also helping individual agents that can recruit. We're working on coordinating with real estate teams where we can place your own ad. So if you have an ad of a specific type of agent you're looking to hire, we run that ad for you. We manage that whole process until they're ready to interview. And when they're ready to interview, you're not doing anything. So you're basically hands off on this whole process. You get an email notification that says, hey, you booked a call with Susie Q at 10 a.m. on Friday. You pick up the phone, you have the consultation with Susie. You could refer them to your market center, add them to your team. Or if you don't want to deal with that, we even have a service where we handle the entire local interview process setup. So for just $69 per recruit, we'll hand deliver your recruit to the market center, get them scheduled to meet with the local office, and then follow up afterwards, relaying that information back to you, whether your recruit named you as a sponsor or not. Because that's the hardest part in this whole process is not the consultation. That's the most fun. That's the most fun part you're ever going to have, because you're exciting somebody about changing their life and showing them how they can build a life by design with our company. Right. So it really kind of creates a way for you, any agent at Keller Williams, to plug in and follow a proven model that, I mean, I've been Keller Williams' #1 recruiter for 12 plus years and sponsored over 2,200 people myself. And now we're doing anywhere between 50 to almost 100 appointments a month with other consultants who are plugged into the system. We're handling everything. We're getting them set up with the consultant. A lot of agents are choosing to do the self-referral to keep it for free, and that's 100% fine. You know, but the biggest part that I think we're seeing is, yeah, the licensed agents and the enrolled students, we drip those people until they're ready to go. The licensed people, we get them on the phone and we get them into the office quick, and you can sign and sponsor. But those not enrolled people, the way we get those to convert is we do monthly webinars, live webinars, to explain the opportunity at Keller Williams, the training, the systems, the support, the culture, to really show them that, hey, once you get your license, you're not just going to be left and thrown to the wolves. We're going to give you a proven path to success. And so by allowing them to, by providing that information to them up front, we also give them FAQs for you, questions that you should ask yourself before you even enter this industry. We have video testimonials, as well as a bunch of other features that can help them make a decision on whether they want to enter this career. And once they do, you get a notification that says, "Hey, your recruit just signed up for real estate school. They're now transitioned to the enrolled class, enrolled in school, and then we follow up until they're ready." Now, the way that really works well is the CE shop has percentage of completion tracking in their service. So if somebody gets to 85% of the way through their courses, we know they're closed. But we get notified every time somebody completes their courses, so we can transition that to then set up to speak with you, so that all you have to do is have the conversation, excite them about Keller Williams, and sponsor them to the company.
Love it. I love it.
I kind of went off, kind of just went willy-nilly there. I don't know if I was.
No, no, it's again, this is about education, and I think the opportunity is there. What I'm curious about is um, in the day and age we currently live, with the Real and the EXP, and it's funny here in Dallas, those guys they're eating each other. I mean, I've never seen anything like it other than initially when EXP really came into this marketplace. They started, I think, aggressively targeting Keller Williams agents because again, we're entrepreneurs, right? We're
Sure.
business owners, and we just think differently. And Brett, know that typically about 20% of the visitors who will chime in today or who will look, they're not even with Keller Williams. And so, I'd love to think that this isn't this isn't just about Keller Williams because I know my friends at AB Halliday here in Remax, unfortunately, the numbers are like you said, when I started in this business, Remax was about as big as you could get. Unfortunately, here they almost don't have any offices, and Century 21 is completely gone away. But I think anyone can use this if you're with a traditional office. Have you been approached by the folks at EXP and Real to maybe bring some of all your
Uh,
expertise over to
yeah, I
over
mean,
to the dark
there've
side?
been some conversations.
Hmm.
And right now I'm really trying to focus on keeping this Keller Williams specific. Because there might be some opportunities through international that would allow me to expand this to the market centers. And so honestly, I don't really want to go down that path.
Hmm.
Um, Being broker agnostic would probably be a lot better financially. But honestly, I think that the problem with that is that a lot of these companies are not built up for success of helping new agents. And I think that's where we really step up and say,
Amen.
we're wanting,
100%.
we're not just wanting to add you to the company.
Right,
We're wanting to train you to build your own life by design
right.
and train you to build a business around yourself, around your personality, around your skill set. And you know what? They tried to recruit me 10 years ago, EXP, and they
Mhm.
continue to. But I think it's kind of gotten to the point where they realize it's not going to happen because I think that the problem is, why would a new agent go to EXP?
Right.
I'm not knocking the company. It's just like,
Amen.
why would they go if there's no real training except from the person that brought you to the company?
That's right.
Now I see a couple of them that what they do is they'll be the figurehead and they go out and they recruit people, and then they'll have somebody else train them. And it's like, trust me, you do not want me training you to sell real estate.
Yeah.
I'll run circles around everybody else when it comes to recruiting. But as far as trying to sell real estate, I have no clue. I haven't sold a house in over a decade
Oh, wow.
because I found my passion. My passion is this. My passion is helping people discover that there is a company that can actually take you from a brand new agent to a producing agent to a mega agent if you follow their model. I don't know another company that does that.
Right.
Yeah, they'll take you if you're already producing and then make money off of you. But are
Yeah.
they supporting you and helping you get to the next level? And that's where I think we have a huge opportunity at this company to basically say, let's streamline this whole process because today's new agents are tomorrow's leaders. And if we can, and my whole process is evolving right now as well. What I want to do, Ben, is I want to get people into the system. I want to get them enrolled in school because you got to realize that's a long process.
Yes.
People get enrolled in school, they've got a lot of time before they get ready to take their test and find a brokerage. What I really want to do is I want to focus on getting people to the point of learning more about our culture up front. before they're licensed, before even introducing personality assessments and KPAs prior to their interviewing of the office. If you do that, you're already solidifying them in our culture, you're solidifying them in our systems. And if if you recruit them from your local market center and you're the sponsor, you have another way to strengthen your market center from within by attracting agents and growing your market center with brand new agents. Now, I know a lot of people don't want to do that. There's like, I don't want new agents. Guess what? I mean, how many years ago was it? There were Keller Williams offices that wouldn't take new agents.
Right.
Now,
Right.
here we are. What's our focus?
Yeah.
New
Yep.
agents.
New agents. Yeah. And
So,
with the dropout of veteran agents at really an all-time record, we're seeing here currently, I mean, in the Dallas area, we're seeing new agents, take the place of those veteran agents who are departing. And yet we also know that, 85% of them don't even make it a year, year and a half. Right. So I think we're looking for that person who's truly passionate, who has the stick-to-itiveness that it takes in this industry, because this is not overnight at all, right?
right. And one thing you said, when you say that, that made me think of something really important because I've had over 5,000 conversations with brand new agents in my career. And one thing that I can remain constant in hearing and just kind of a vibe that I got from a lot of those new agents is that when I would tell them about what the opportunity was like and commission and fees and having money saved and all this stuff, or have a flexible job, it was kind of like, God, I wish I would have known this before I got started. Right. So in my mind, I feel like a lot of these people gave it the try. They already got their license.
Mhm.
They're going to give it a shot. But in the back of their mind, they weren't invested because it was something in that presentation that said, I wish I would have known this beforehand. So if we can educate these people before they even start getting their license, the
Right.
people that are going to hit your portal and the people you're going to end up recruiting now, hopefully are going to be agents that are going to have a better conversion rate than being 88% gone within the first 2 years.
Right.
And that's what I want to change. I want to change the fact of who we're getting into this business. Yeah, we're going to get a lot of people in this industry, but if you can educate them beforehand, give them the path to success so that when they do get licensed and they select their broker, boom, they're off the ground running. They're not starting from a crawl. They're already in the sprint.
Indeed. And I believe retention will increase significantly, from your model there. So, what would you, and again, I think the focus is on newer agents. Is there anything uniquely different in trying to attract that mega agent from Coldwell Banker or from Sotheby's or from Compass? Is there anything different that you would do or that we would target now?
You know what? My model has been primarily a new agent magnet
Yes.
because a lot of the times we're marketing on job boards. We're marketing in places where a lot of new people are going to go. And I'll tell you this, you're not going to find a capper or a top producing agent looking for a real estate company on Indeed.
No.
They're just not there. They're not going and looking for that. They already know in their mind what they need to do. So that's where what I'm trying to do is now, obviously, we get those people that come through our system because when you share your KW career link on your website, on your email signature, or on social media, that's free advertising, right? Any lead, if somebody fills out that form, they're going into your database and we're going to track them until they're ready to interview. So if you just throw me a bunch of not enrolled people, I'm going to do my best to convert them. If you ship me a licensed agent, you're going to get notified that they're in your system, and then we're going to work on converting them and getting on your calendar. So it all comes down to it. I'm not trying to take over Keller Williams' thought process or recruiting process. I'm just trying to complement it.
Mhm.
I've done this more than anybody else in this company, and I've got a great system that converts at a high level, and I just want to help other agents do it. And if we can, and we also created a feature in our system called SmartFlow, where we can actually have multiple agents recruit under the same market center. So if an agent, let's say you had multiple agents in your market center that wanted to recruit and everybody wanted to put in, let's say $20 into advertising, everybody would get the same amount of leads distributed to them in our round robin lead distribution called SmartFlow. So anybody that's stacked underneath a head consultant, if you market to one market center, anybody that's below that person is going to get round robin leads distributed to them. So you can add PC coaches, you can add leadership, you can add any other agent that wants to recruit to this system. And the funny thing I get all the time is people are like, I feel like I should be doing something. I should reach out to these. Should I reach out to these people? And I'm like, go for it, man. I'm not doing it. I'm here to compliment you and your business and convert the people when they're ready and get them into your calendar so that you don't have to do all that legwork and all that extra trial and error of trying to get them on the phone. Let me handle that for you.
Well, I when we met, I was excited about it because, I feel like I'm always trying to attract other Eagles because I'm fortunate in my office. I mean, right next to me on both sides, I've got Eagles who soar high. But I'm always trying to give back, especially to the newer agents. My door is always open and every day in our office. I mean, we've got 600. We're not like San Antonio Heritage, right? But we've got a lot of agents in this office and a lot of new agents who uh, they need some time and energy, and I don't mind giving that encouragement because every now and then I see something. I see an eagle who I'm like, this is one, they're going to defy the odds. They're going to be here next year and the year after and the year after that. And I love pouring into them, regardless of whether they're in my profit share family or not. So, and I know you're built the same way. So I cannot thank you enough because there's opportunity. Now, here's a crazy question, which you get all the time. And Monique has a question real quick. What is the single best month you've ever had? And since you don't sell real estate, you hadn't sold one in forever. Do you remember one month you're like, oh, damn, oh, this is nice? What was that amount?
Honestly, I think it was a summer. It was the summer of 21.
Okay.
And we had just gone through the pandemic and it was kind of struggling but it was still profitable. It was weird how we were profitable after the pandemic.
Yeah.
So profitable.
Yeah.
And I remember I made I think it was $21,000 in profit share in one of my months.
Okay.
And that's been my best month. But that month, I think we had gone to Mexico, we had visited my mom, and we had visited my wife's family
Yeah.
in Arkansas.
Uh,
So I wasn't even around.
yes. Yeah.
And I'm getting 20K in my bank. And I'm
Yeah.
just like, this is the best thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
And in my top year, I ended up around 200K.
Yeah.
And I'm working to get up to the McKissick level,
Oh
the
man.
Mike Brody level.
Right. Yeah.
But I want to help other people do that as well. My tree is growing. My tree is growing automatically. I don't recruit anymore. I have my team. I have members under my team doing the smart flow the way
Yeah.
I've described it. So all the leads that come in that are not tied to a consultant go automatically to my team so that they can get scheduled and recruit. And so if other people have teams that they want to do that as well, it's simply just a matter of setting it up, picking the market you want to do, set your budget, and let us run with it.
Well, I can tell you, well, you're going to have some folks who are excited about it because I am. Monique, if you're off mute, do you have a question?
I do have a question. Good morning, everyone. And I am from that Heritage office in San
Yeah.
Antonio, and we're huge.
Hey,
Yeah.
But my question is, I seem to attract people and other agents in other brokerages that they don't want to come to Heritage. They want to come to my team, and I'm not interested in growing my team any larger. How do you get around that when people think recruiting, I'm going to be on, if they, you're recruiting them and they're going to be on your team? Because I'm just like, no, I'm not growing my team, but I would love for you to come to my brokerage. And also the second question is, when we're tracking them in school, are they going through K-Score? Or are they going through, a paid course where they have to have some skin in the game?
I'll answer that one first, Monique. K-Score, I love the opportunity that it provides. It's opening doors to people who who don't really have the opportunity to pay for a license.
Yeah.
But I'll say my experience with that program hasn't been super successful. The conversion rate hasn't been very strong.
Right.
And just exactly because of what you said, skin in the game. You know,
Everything is free.
I mean, think about what market we're in right now. I mean, if somebody's not able to afford a couple $100s to get their real estate license, do you think they're going to have the longevity to stay in this industry during this time frame? And
Right, that part right there.
that's what makes me go, no. So the way we're able to recruit people at a higher level than K-score is because these people actually have skin in the game, and they're willing to put in that effort because they know they have to complete it or they lose that money.
Yeah.
Right.
And now, as far as your other question, that's a tough one, because do they just not want to go to Heritage, or they just don't want to go to Keller Williams?
They're just not even the agents that I meet. I've met a couple of them just last week at Mega Camp, and they were just like, "We just want to be on your team." And I was like,
Why not? Why don't you grow your team then?
I said, I have an amazing brokerage. We don't care about the brokerage. And I get that all the time. I just want to be on your team.
Mm-hmm. Brent,
Well,
I get the same thing. I think
they're speaking into existence of what needs to happen.
Yeah.
No, sir.
You don't want to do that, huh?
No. Ditto. I'm good. I'm good right here. So
I'm good.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the best thing is, honestly, I would just focus more on the success of your market center. I mean, it's one of the top market centers in the entire country.
Yep.
I mean, Craig has built that office and to be one of the best for a reason, because he follows the model the way it's intended. And that's the other thing I want to say is not all market centers are created equal, are they?
No, they're not.
So let's focus on helping the market centers that are providing that same value, because at the end of the day, you don't want to send a recruit to a market center that's not going to support them, that's not going to give them the coaching that they need or the support that they need to be successful. So at the same time, when we do consultations, like when you have a consultation with a recruit, let's say there's multiple market centers around that. You don't know that location. Let's say you generate a lead in another part of the state or another part of the country. Well, if somebody fills out the form, well, what we do is we track their zip code, and then we search and provide that information prior to the consultation. So we'll show you, hey, this recruit is next to market center A and market center B. We'll also show the profitability, year-to-date profit share numbers of those market centers as well, because that way you can sit there. If one's profit sharing 800,000 and one is profit sharing 5,000, where are you going to send your recruit?
100%.
Yeah, right. So you want to help them make an informed decision, because your job is to not get them to the closest market center. Your job is to get them to the place that's going to help them be most successful and thrive in this industry. And that's usually going to be determined by culture, profitability, then distance, right? So if I have to make somebody drive past another market center because they're not financially supporting their agents enough, and or their profit share numbers are showing that they're not following the model, then I'm sorry. You know, that's I'm loyal to the recruit. I'm not loyal to your office.